Welcome to the Nearpod tutorial by Rachel R.C. Jager. The first step in order to create a Nearpod presentation is to go to nearpod.com, and you do that by typing in nearpod.com into your URL box, and that will take you to this page. Then you have to create an account, so you go here where it says create an account in the middle of the page, and you click that, and it will ask you for your name, your email, and a password. And you don't have to put your real name if you don't want to. You can just put in one letter or something fake if you like your privacy, or you can put in your full name. It's up to you. But after you log in, it will take you to a practice session page, which will show you a video about what Nearpod can do, how to use it to put your presentation on the student's iPod or iPad, I guess, and all that. The issue with that is the presentation they show you doesn't have a link, as far as I can tell, to actually take you directly into creating an Nearpod to creating Nearpod content. So you will have to go back up to the URL box and punch in the nearpod.com URL once again and get back to the start screen, and then you'll go over to login and enter your new username, enter your password, and click login. And once you do that, it will take you to this screen over here where it's very easy to start creating your new Nearpod content. All you have to do is click the create button. Once you're on this screen, you're going to want to create a new presentation, and the way you do that is by hitting the plus button that just highlighted blue in the middle of your screen, and you can see if you hover over it, it will show up with a subtext that says new presentation. So you click that button and you're taken to this screen that asks you to drag your files onto basically that cutout area of the screen. Now you don't have to do that. I prefer not to do it that way. The easiest way for me to add in a file to a Nearpod presentation is to browse for it. But before that, we need to review the file types that they accept. They will accept PDF formats or PowerPoints, but the PowerPoint, I believe, has to be converted to a PDF first. So basically you need to upload a PDF. So I'm going to go ahead down here and click Browse My Files. And it takes me to my desktop because that's what I have a browse defaulted for. And I go ahead to where I know my file is located, and I click on my PDF and I click Open. And what that's going to do is it's going to upload my PDF into Nearpod and assign one page to each slide. Now since this PDF happens to be only one page long, it's going to create one slide for my presentation. And you can see that it's processing the content, and it's gone ahead and it's created a new Nearpod presentation for me. And actually this presentation has two slides because Nearpod puts an automatic Nearpod thank you slide at the very end, but you can click on that slide and delete it if you don't want it there. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my first slide, my PDF slide that I've uploaded, and you can see that there are three options of things that I can do for this slide. I can add text, I can add an image, and I can add audio to this Nearpod presentation. So let's go ahead and add some text. You'll see when I click the text button, this gray area comes up, and I can put in a title. Let's do something more advanced. This PDF that I've uploaded is about adding details. So my title is adding detail. And I can add some text at the bottom here, such as you need detail in your essays, because this is intended for my English literature class. So I have typed in some text and I'm going to click save. And I want you to notice this gray area is covering most of the screen, but after I hit save, if I look at what actually is done to my presentation, only the part that I have typed in gets grayed out, and it's not even a complete gray, it's semi-transparent, but only the part that I've typed in actually shows on the screen. The rest of it is left clear so you can see what's behind it. Now, if you decide afterwards you really don't want this text area, you don't like that it's hiding the document, that's not what you intended, you can click delete. There's not really a way to resize the text area. You can't change the font, you can't move the text box, but you can delete it if you decide that you don't like it. And it goes away, and then you click save, and your presentation is back to the way it was normally. You can also add an image to your slide. However, you're going to want to do this on the blank slide. Here's why. A PDF is really just an image file. So when you go to click image, and you can import an image from Dropbox or Box or Google Images, or you can browse for an image that you know is on your computer. So for instance, I just for this purpose downloaded a dragon picture because I like dragons, and you have to either upload it as a JPEG or a PNG file, and if you have a choice, you always want to go with PNG because they're what's called a lossless file, which means you don't lose any data whenever you change or move the picture. But that's beside the point for this tutorial. So anyway, you can upload your image, and just like with the text, you can't resize it, you can't change its positioning, it's going to be centered in the middle of your screen. However, you'll notice that unlike the text, you can no longer see the original PNG or the original PDF file behind it. And in fact, if I was to now delete this dragon, I decide I don't like it, also unlike the text, I'm going to realize that my original PDF file is now gone. And the reason for that is Nearpod is actually replacing your PDF image file with the new image that you just created. And so there is no way to go back unless you happen to not have hit save, in which case you should be able to hit the X button and your PDF file is still there. But if you've hit save, you're going to have to go back and actually add in your PDF all over again. So know that if you do add in an image file, it will overwrite your PDF. You can also add audio to your presentation. You click the audio button, and as you can see, it is a pay for it feature. You can use the free trial to add audio, which I'm not going to do right now because I am going to want to use that for a future presentation, so I'm not going to use it for this one. Or you can upgrade your account to a pay version, which would allow you to have unlimited audio at any time for all your presentations. So that's pretty much it. You go ahead and you click save. You have your presentation. Ooh, that's weird. Alright, don't know what just happened there. All I did was hit the back button and I'm where I need to be. And let's say that I basically want to create a presentation that I can add into my classroom. So I'm going to go ahead and go back now that I've shown you the steps, and I'm going to add in my title. And I just want the title this time. So I put in the title. It shows up on my slide. I'm going to now add in more content. In this case, I'm re-adding my slide so that I can get a copy of the slide without the title, so that it will shift from one to the other. Sort of what you can do in PowerPoint if you use an animation, where you have the title show up and then the animation advances and the title goes away. In this case, since Nearpod doesn't support that, I'm going to have one slide that has my big gray title and one slide that does not. You might also have seen that once you are actually inside your presentation and you click add, and if you click add content, there's a lot more things that you can add. You can add the audio, you can add video, a custom slide, which I believe is a slide from PowerPoint. You can add in your PDFs, an actual full slideshow, a Twitter stream. There's a lot you can do. If you click web content, you can add in content directly from the web. Again, it's a pay for it feature, which I'm not going to go into right now because I don't want to use up my free trials. You can also add activities, such as an open-ended question, a poll, a quiz, and a draw it. So let me add in an open-ended question. I'm going to type in my question. Since this is about detail, let me see. What I'm going to add in that color to my essay, which is all about my favorite things. So what is your favorite color? So I save it, and there's my open-ended question. If I want to see what it looks like, I'm going to click on it. I'm going to click on More, and I'm going to go to Preview. And there is my screen. There's my slide. And I can see what comes before it if I want, adding detail. I can see what comes after it. Since the first thing I want my presentation to focus on is the PDF that's detailing how to add details to an essay, I'm going to actually move my open-ended question to the end of my presentation. And the way I do that is I just click on it, I hold down the mouse button, and I drag the mouse to the side, and that will move the slide until I finally let go of the mouse button. Now, just for fun, I'm going to go ahead and add in an image that I like to conclude my presentations with. So I'm going to browse my files, and I'm going to find my dragon again, remembering of course that by loading this dragon into a slide, it's going to take up the whole slide. And there we go. Here's my presentation. And if I want to preview it, I can by clicking this preview button. Now you'll notice something. You'll notice that when this slide shows up, the gray box is entirely present, and that's to remind us that we can edit in it. In fact, I can even click it and it'll show up with a cursor button, but I can't actually, I'm trying to type right now and you cannot type within the preview mode. It's simply reminding you that you can, if you go back to the slide itself and click edit, you are able to add in text there. Here's my PDF, my open-ended question, and then finally my dragon. And that's what my presentation is going to look like. So now that I'm happy with it, I'm going to go ahead and hit done. And it's asking me if I want to publish my presentation. What that means is in order for my students to be able to see it on their iPads, in order for them to be able to see it on the Nearpod app, I have to publish it. So I could hit no, but I'm just going to go ahead and hit yes. And it publishes it. You can see down here it's processing, and when that wheel stops spinning, it's been published. And it has a little reminder here that it might take a few minutes, but it's gone away now, and you can see here's my presentation. It has the same title as my original PDF file, so if I want to change that title, I have to go up to settings and I can title it adding details or something. It's not wanting to let me change it, so I'll figure out how to do that later. Okay, it's not letting me change the title of my presentation, and I'm thinking that's because I've actually already published it. And so if you want to change things like the title, you're going to have to pay attention to that before you publish your presentation. Alright, so I'm back with my presentation, and if I want to see what it looks like live, I click the presentation and I go to More, and I can click Live Session. And it will open up the presentation in Nearpod, and within a session it gives you a pin so that your students can log in and you can share it with people, but I don't need to do that right now. So you can see here's your slide. The extra gray box, of course, is not there because that's not part of how we wanted our final presentation to look. And you can see that the next slide shows you the list of students who have signed into your presentation, so you can make sure they're all there before you keep going. And then you continue with your main presentation, which is about this PDF that I've uploaded. And here you can see is my open-ended question, and the students can give their answers, and it will tie in with their personal pin and show me how many students have participated in my survey. And then it ends with the famous dragon. So there you go. That's how you make a Nearpod presentation. It's pretty simple. It's not very flexible, but it is a good way to enable students to use mobile devices.